Good evening and welcome to the October 28th, 2025 Township Planning Public Meeting. Members of the public may watch and or participate in this open meeting using any of the following methods. You can attend in person at the Dumfries Community Complex, located at 2958 Greenfield Road. You can attend electronically to observe the meeting or to speak to an item on the agenda by the register on the Clerk Division. You can watch the live stream by accessing the meeting on the Township YouTube page. The live stream is for viewing only and not for direct participation. Submitted written comments to the clerk's office in advance of the meeting and correspondence are provided to members of council and the mayor prior to the meeting and will be part of the public record. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank everyone for joining us this evening. We appreciate your participation. As we come together to serve the community, I ask that we create a welcoming and positive environment for everyone that includes respect, that we listen to each other with care, speak thoughtfully, and engage kindly with one another. In kindness, that we treat everyone, council, staff, and the public with respect and understanding. Inclusion, that we embrace diverse perspectives and respect each other's opinions. Together, we can make this meeting a space where respect, kindness, and inclusion are at the heart of everything we do. Behavior that's disrespectful, disruptive, aggressive, or intimidating will result in those individuals being asked to leave. I'd now like to call the meeting to order and can I have approval of the agenda, please, Councilor Williams.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Oster, that council adopt the October 28th, 2025 council planning public meeting agenda as presented with the following addendum. 1, add correspondence received for item 6.5.2, report number PD 68-2025, minor variant application for 2768 Elks Road West, file number A-1925. And 2, add memorandum from Brock Linklater, senior planner, regarding an amendment to the initial list for item 6.6.2, report number PD 65-2025, consent and minor variant applications for 2026 Reedsville Road or Dumfries, file numbers U-0325 and A-0925.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. I'd now like to do the Indigenous Territory Acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Neutral people. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today, their achievements and their contributions in our community. We offer this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples in Canada. And as I've worked with them over the last while, it's an amazing experience. We've grown together. We agree on a lot of things. We really have become connected, and it's mutual respect, and it's very, very positive and pleasant. It's quite enjoyable. They're a wonderful nation that we should embrace, and they want to work with us. It's not about money, as Ava Hill has said, and as others have said. It's about recognition, like when we presented Buddy Miracle with Ava Hill with Buddy Miracle's hockey team. And acknowledging that he was the first Indigenous NHL. And she said, this is what reconciliation is. It is honoring what we have to contribute and the respect of it. So let's pause and think about that for a moment. Thank you. Is there any closure of opinion interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none. Councilor Osner, committee adjustment to City's committee adjustment, please.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Roman, the council meeting adjourned at 6:04 p.m. to City's committee adjustment for the purposes of holding public meetings pursuant to the provisions of the Planning Act.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. And Councilor Williams, please, the approval of the minutes. Please. The adjustment agenda. Please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Derek Rosner, that committee adopt the October 28, 2025 Committee of Adjustment agenda as presented with the following addendum. Add correspondence received for item 6.5.2, report number PD 68-2025, Point of variance application for 2768 Elms Road West, file number A-1925. And add memorandum from Brock Later, senior planner, regarding an amendment to a condition list for item 6.6.2 report number PD-65-2025, consent and minor variance applications for 2026 Reedsville Road, North Dumfries, file numbers B03-25 and A09/20.
All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now, Councilor Rowland, the minutes, please.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Ossner, that committee approved the adjustment meeting minutes dated September 23rd, 2025.
All those in favor? Is there any disclosure between your interest in Mr. Papa? Mr. Sack in that any adjustment? Seeing none, thank you. Six point five, planning public meetings, minor variance and consent application, 6.5.1, report number PD 67/2025. Consent application for Clyde Road, file number B0525. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary Treasurer will record it. We'll keep a record of all persons who provide comments on this application and those who register with the Clerk's Department to request a notice of decision. Those individuals will be notified of the decisions and the convening of future meetings on this application. There's a sign-in sheet at the back table of the meeting room for those who wish future notice related to this file. Michael Campos, Manager Planner, will present this application. Michael, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening. I'm pleased to present staff's recommendation on a submitted consent application file number B05/25. As it relates to an unaddressed rural residential parcel off Clyde Road. The purpose of this presentation today is to provide an overview of the proposal received, solicit comments, and to present staff's recommendation. The subject property is an unaddressed rural residential lot on the south side of Clyde Road, located between Shellard Road and Village Road. Has an area of approximately 1.9 hectares, with 65.77 meters of frontage along Clyde Road. The land is currently vacant aside from a single existing farm building and is generally open agricultural field with no other development in place. The surrounding area consists of a mix of rural residential and agricultural properties. In terms of planning framework, the property is zoned to agriculture under the Township zoning bylaw and designated rural area and protected countryside in the Township's official plan. The application before the committee is a request to extend the limits of an existing access easement on the subject property in favor of the abutting lot to the east. The shared access easement already runs along the entire frontage. It was established in 2007 when 3 rural residential lots were created from the former property at 1507 Clyde Road. At that time, individual driveway connections were not permitted due to sightline and topographical constraints, so a single shared access point was required from the west. The owner of the benefiting lot is now moving ahead with constructing a single detached dwelling, and the region has issued an access permit for a driveway connection near the eastern edge of the frontage of the property. However, through the detailed building permit review, it was determined that a portion of the driveway would fall outside the current registered easement. So this request is a technical adjustment to ensure the entire driveway is located within the legal easement, providing access to the benefiting lot. And to help illustrate this, the image on the screen shows the existing and proposed easement areas. Part 12, shown in blue, is the current registered easement. Part 2, in orange, is the proposed extension. And the benefiting property to the east is shown in green. On the screen is an excerpt from the proposed driveway design. The planned driveway is shown in orange. And as you can see, a portion of the driveway extends slightly south of the existing registered easement, which is labeled as subject to easement part 12. The driveway will terminate at the southern extent of the proposed easement extension and then continue east to provide access to the benefiting property. To ensure that the full length of the proposed driveway is legally accommodated, the applicant is requesting to extend the existing easement slightly further south to the property. Currently, the easement has a depth of 6 meters along the entire 65.77 meter frontage. The driveway will be located within the easternmost 20.12 meters of that frontage. And in that area, the applicant proposes to to increase the easement depth by 10 meters, resulting in a total depth of 16 meters where the driveway will be constructed. Planning staff circulated notice of the applications to all property owners within 120 meters of the subject lands, and a notice sign was posted along the Clyde Road frontage. And today, no public comments were received regarding this application. With respect to agency and department review, comments received from Canada Post, the Fire Department, Engineering and Public Works, the Building Department, Waterloo Catholic District School Board, Six Nations of the Grand River, the Region of Waterloo, TRCA, and Grand Bridge identified that they had no objections or concerns with the application. Staff reviewed the consent application under the full planning framework, including the Planning Act, provincial policies, and both the regional and township official plans, along with the comments received through the circulation. This is a technical adjustment to extend an existing registered easement so that the approved driveway to Clyde Road is fully contained within the legal access area. There are no new lots being created, and there's no change to land use, property size, or configuration. The proposal enables safe, efficient, and lawful access to an existing lot of record, which is consistent with regional and township access requirements. It also aligns with the provincial planning statement by supporting appropriate rural development through the use of existing infrastructure. No concerns or objections were identified by internal departments or external agencies through the review process. And the easement extension maintains the rural residential character of the area and will not result in any negative impacts on neighboring properties. Based on this review, staff recommend that consent application B05/25 be approved, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. And Pete, would you like to make any comments?
Heck, I think it's pretty straightforward. If anybody wants to know what the existing farm building, it happens to be our daughter's chicken coop.
Is there any member of the public wish to make any? Seeing none, councillors, any questions? Seeing none, can I have the motion, please, Councillor Austin?
Moved by myself, second by Rod Rollman, that PD report number 67-2025 be received. And that consent application B-0525 being request to extend an existing access easement on the unaddressed parcel identified as roll number 3001050008071155 to permit the construction of a driveway providing access in favor of the adjacent lots to the east identified as roll number 3001050008071175 be approved, subject to the following conditions. That the owner submit a reference plan prepared by the Ontario Land Surveyor illustrating the proposed easement of the purposes of access to the satisfaction of the Township of North Dumfries. And that the applicant solicitor submits an undertaking to register the easement with the Land Registry Office. Upon registration, evidence of compliance with the undertaking is to be provided to the township in the form of a copy of electronic transfer easement. That the applicant paid $230 representing the township administration fee prior to final approval. That the applicant paid a certificate of approval clearance for registration fee to the township in the amount of $840. That the owner pay the township any outstanding property taxes in full. That the above conditions be fulfilled and the document for conveyance or certificate of consent be completed by the Secretary Treasurer of the committee within 2 years of the date of written decision pursuant to section 5317 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990. Otherwise, the approval shall lapse.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you.
Party open.
Yes, you want me to live night.
We love you, folks. I know already.
Sure,
Take care.
one of these, right?
Nice to see you.
Have a great night.
Take care. Report number 6.5.2, PD 68/2025, minor variance application for 2768 Elks Road, W, file number A-1925. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act, and the Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all persons who provide comments on this application, and those individuals will be notified of the decision of the convening of features on this application. There's a sign-in sheet on the table at the back of the meeting room to complete for those that wish future notice related to the spot. Christina Brazanovic, GIS technician will present this application. Christina, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The following presentations for minor variance application A19/25 for the property located at 2768 Elks Road West. The purpose of this meeting is to provide an overview of the proposal, dismiss the comments, and identify issues or matters to be assessed by staff. The property is located on the south side of Elks Road West, west of the intersection of Elks Road West and Woodland Street. The property consists of a single detached dwelling and accessory buildings. This property is approximately 6.7 hectares in size, with a lot frontage of 306 meters onto Elks Road West. Surrounding land uses are agricultural. This property is zoned Z1 agriculture with a site-specific zoning in Township 20.1.135 and designated agricultural in the Township official plan. The purpose of the application is to facilitate the construction of a coach house on the eastern portion of the subject property. The coach house will have a total area of approximately 133.5 square meters and a building height of 4.6 meters. The principal dwelling unit has a building footprint of approximately 148.6 square meters. The proposed coach house is permitted to be 40% of the size, which is approximately 59.5 square meters. The owner is requesting a variance to exceed this size limit. The coach house will be accessed using the existing driveway entrance on Elks Road West, with a proposed pedestrian walkway providing a connection to the coach house. As you can see on the screen, the existing principal dwelling is shown in green and the proposed coach house is shown in orange. On the screen is an elevation and the floor plan of the proposed coach house. The following minor variances are being requested. Section 6.40.7 permits the maximum coach house size of 40% of the footprint of the principal dwelling unit. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a maximum size of 90% of the footprint of the principal dwelling unit. And section 6.40.9 II establishes that a coach house must be located in the rear yard. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit the coach house to be located within the side yard. This photo is a view of the principal dwelling from Elks Road West. The coach house is proposed to be constructed to the left of the principal dwelling. This is also a view from Elks Road West, just east of the principal dwelling and an approximate location of the proposed coach house, and to the rear is the 401. No correspondence has been received from any members of the public at this time. There have been no concerns from the fire department, Canada Post, Waterloo Catholic District School Board, GRC, Grand Ridge, or the Engineering Public Works Department. The building department will require septic review and has requested a detailed MDS calculation to confirm that the proposed coach house meets the MDS setback requirements, as there is an existing farm operation located across the street to the west of the subject property. The applicant has recently provided MDS1 calculations, and the building department is currently reviewing this information. Staff recommends that all comments and correspondence received from members of the public and government agencies through the consultation process be returned to staff for a future report to the committee of the disposition of this matter. Staff will be considering matters including all comments and correspondence received, whether the proposed development complies with the MDS1 setback requirements, and whether the development meets the criteria of the forecasts. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Michael, did you want to say anything? It's Michael here. Aye.
Give me 1 second.
Pardon?
He's just rejoining if he wants to say anything.
I think on my notes, it says that he's just here to answer questions. Councilors, is there any questions? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, then let's move ahead with the motion, please, Councilor Williams.
Moved by myself and then seconded by Rod Williman, that PD report number 68-2025 be received, and that all comments and correspondence received through the consultation process be returned to staff for consideration in a future report to the committee on the disposition of this matter.
All those in favor? It's carried, thank you. Next is report number PD 38/2025 minor variance application for 2768 Elks Road WR number A-1925. 19/25 notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary scheduled the people record with the person should provide comments on this application, and those who register with the clerk's department to request a notice of decision. Those individuals.
We just.
I beg your pardon? Sorry, folks, we're actually at minor variance consent application for 6.6.1, report number PD 64/2025, minor variance application. I think that's supposed to say on. For 40 Oakwood. On 40 Oakwood Drive or 30 Oakwood? Or 40, okay, so that's supposed to 440 Oakwood Drive, file number 8/1725, notice has been given in accordance with the planning act. Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all the persons who provide comments on this application and those who wish to with the Coast Department to request a notice of decision. Those individuals will be notified of this decision or the convening of future meetings on this application. There's a sign-in sheet in the table at the back of the meeting room to complete for those who wish future notice related to this file. Brock Leclerc, Senior Planner, will present this application. Brock, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Following presentation is for my variance application A1725 associated with the property municipally addressed as 40 Oakwood Drive in North Dumfries. And the purpose of this meeting is to advance a recommendation for committee's consideration on the merits of the application. Subject property municipally addressed as 40 Oakwood Drive is located on the east side of Oakwood Drive in the Brown Settlement area. The property has an approximate lot area of 0.16 hectares with a corresponding lot frontage of 30.48 meters on Oakwood Drive. The property is developed with a one-story single detached dwelling that is serviced by a private septic system and well. The property also contains an existing detached garage and small storage shed. The property is zoned C3 rural residential in the township zoning bylaw. And in the township's official plan, the property is designated settlement residential and ancillary and is also located within the rural area and protected countryside designation areas in the official. To facilitate the construction of a new one-story detached garage, which will replace the existing detached garage that currently exists on the property. The owner has applied for this minor variance. The proposed garage will have an approximate height of 5.2 meters and will measure 16.76 meters by 9.14 meters in size, with a total floor area of 153.3 square meters. The proposed detached garage will be located in the same general location on the property as the existing garage that is currently existing on the property and being replaced. Following minor variances are being requested by the applicant. Section 6.5.1 of the zoning bylaw establishes that a maximum floor area of 4% for all accessory buildings located on the property shall be permitted. The owner seeks relief from this provision to permit a maximum combined floor area of 11% for all accessory buildings on the lot. And section 6.39.8 II establishes that the maximum permitted driveway width shall be 6.1 meters, whereas the owner is seeking relief to recognize the existing driveway and permit a maximum associated driveway width of 11.94 meters. Variance number 1 on the screen relating to the accessory building floor area was identified and presented at the initial meeting. During the continued review of the application and existing site conditions following the public meeting, staff noted that the existing driveway measures 11.94 meters in width at the property line, whereas the zoning bylaw permits a maximum of 6.1 meters. As such, the driveway has existed in this configuration for over 20 years without issue. Accordingly, staff have included a housekeeping variance to recognize this longstanding condition and regularize the site. No new or widened access is proposed. The photos on this slide were taken by planning staff during a site visit. The photo on the left shows a view of the existing residential dwelling from Oakwood Drive. This application does not propose any changes to the residential dwelling. The photo on the left, right, shows a view of the existing driveway and detached garage. This garage will be removed and replaced with the new detached garage. This slide shows the proposed building elevation submitted by the applicant for the new detached garage. The photo on the top left and top right the slides show the proposed front and rear elevations of the new structure. Correspondingly, the photos on the bottom left and bottom right show views of the proposed garage from the right side facing south, as well as the left side, which is facing north. For public correspondence, staff have received 6 letters of support from neighboring property owners. Specifically, these letters of support were provided by the owners of 12 and 24 Brown Avenue, as well as 38, 39, 41, and 42 Oakwood Drive respectively. Each letter confirms that the respective owners do not have any objections to those variances or details regarding the proposed attached garage. Looking at agency correspondence, the Township's Fire Department, Regional Waterloo, and GRCA, Canada Post and Greenbridge Energy have no concerns or objections to the application. The Township's Engineering and Public Works Department has no objections, but has noted that they will require a grading plan at the building permit stage. Additionally, the building department has also noted that they will require certification of this grading plan by the engineer prior to closing the future building permit. Additionally, the Waterloo Region Catholic School Board has noted that education development charges will be collected prior to building permit issuance. Planning staff are of the opinion that the requested variances meet the 4 tests of a minor variance as defined by the Planning Act. Looking at why it's minor in nature, the new garage remains 1 story, meets setbacks, and raises accessory floor area by a net change of 3% from 8% to 11%. And requesting the driveway width recognizes a long-standing existing condition. As such, staff considered the variance as minor. Whether it's desirable for the land, it replaces an older garage with a purpose-built structure that supports the residential use of the property. And it formalizes a long-standing driveway along a wide lot frontage, and as such, we believe it is desirable for the property and surrounding land. Whether it maintains the intent of the bylaw, although it exceeds the 4% accessory area limit, the yard space and lot function will be preserved and it complies with heightened setback requirements. Additionally, the overall massing is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood, and therefore we believe it follows the general intent of the zoning bylaw. And whether it complies with the official plan, the property is located within the Browns Rural Settlement area where low density residential and accessory structures are permitted. Additionally, compatibility has been demonstrated through neighbor support in the absence of agency objections, and as such, we believe it follows the general intent of the official plan. Based on the completed planning analysis, planning staff recommend that PD report number 64/2025 be received, and that minor variance application A1725 for 40 Oakwood Drive be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Clinton Archer, would you like to speak? Have you got him online?
Yes, he is online.
Hello, everyone. My name is Clinton Archer. I'm the authorized agent and applicant on this application. I just want to thank everyone for their time and efforts on this process. I am available for any questions. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Clinton. And Harry Curtis, did Harry want to speak?
He's just available to answer any questions as well.
And it's the public who should speak on this. Seeing none, councilors, any questions? Seeing none, can I have the motion, please, Councilor Bowman?
Moved by myself by Councilor Oster that PD report number 64/2025 be received. And the minor variance application A-1725 being a request to permit a maximum combined floor area of 11% for all accessory buildings on the lot where section 8.3.7A. General zoning bylaw number 689-83 permits a maximum combined floor area of 4% for all accessory buildings located on a zone 3 property. And B, permit a maximum driveway width of 11.94 meters, whereas section 6.39.82 of general zoning bylaw number 689-83 permits a maximum driveway width of 6.1 meters. Be approved.
I just have one question in the statement, permits a maximum combined floor area of 11% for all accessory buildings. Does that mean you could build another accessory building of that size? Should it say for all, or just say for the accessory building?
There's multiple buildings, and so it would be all of the buildings as a sum, could not exceed 11%.
Thank you. Do you think that's what, does it read that way?
That's the legal term that we would use in this situation.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Carrie, thank you. Now, so last one, we thought all. The next one's 3 pages long.
I was born ready.
6.6.2, report number PD 65/2025 consent and minor variance application for 2026 Reedsfield Road, North Dumfries, file number B 03/25 and 80-09/25. Notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary Treasurer will keep a record of all the persons who provide comments to this application and those who register with the clerk department to request a notice of decision. Those individuals will be notified of the decision at the beginning of future meetings on the application. There's a sign-in sheet on the table at the back of the meeting room to complete for those who wish to future notice related to the file. Brock Linkletter, Senior Planner, will present the application. Yeah, please.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. Following presentation is for consent application B03/25 and minor variance application A09/25 associated with a proposed lot severance and conversion of an accessory structure to a principal residential dwelling located at 2026 Reedsville Road. And the purpose of this meeting is to advance a recommendation for the committee's consideration on the merits of these applications. Subject property is located within the Reedsville settlement area on the west side of Reedsville Road to the north of the intersection of Reedsville Road and Alps Road. Subject property is approximately 2 acres in size, corresponding lot frontage of 59.13 meters onto Reedsville Road. The property consists of a single detached residence on private servicing, as well as 2 accessory structures. Surrounding land use activities consist primarily of rural residential and agriculture uses. Property is currently zone 3 rural residential in the township zoning bylaw, and in the township's official plan, the property is located within the Reedsville rural settlement area and is designated settlement area and ancillary. The applicant is proposing to sever the property to create 1 new residential lot. The proposed severed lot currently contains an accessory structure, which the owner is proposing to convert into a residential dwelling. The intended result of these applications by the applicant is to create a new residential lot with this severed lot containing the proposed converted dwelling and the retained lot containing the existing residential single attached dwelling. The proposed retained lot, highlighted in red, is situated at the north end of the subject property and will be approximately 3,951 meters squared in size, just under an acre, with a lot frontage of 41.6 meters onto Reedsville Road, with a proposed severed lot highlighted in blue, situated at the south end of the subject property, totaling just under 4138 meters squared in size. So just over 1 acre with a lot frontage of 17.53 meters onto Reedsville Road. As noted, the owner is proposing to convert an existing accessory structure into a residential dwelling. The intended result of these applications is to create a new residential lot with this new accessory structure being principal dwelling on that lot. Proposed accessory structure to be converted is shown in orange on this slide. The structure is located on the severed portion and once converted will be that principal dwelling. The applicant has applied for a minor variance application simultaneously to seek relief from 5 sections of the zoning bylaw for the proposed severed lot. This includes relief from the minimum lot width, side yard setback, minimum floor area requirements, as well as seeking temporary relief to permit the accessory structure to exist on the lot on a temporary basis without an associated principal dwelling unit until the time that it has been converted to the principal dwelling unit on the lot. I wanted to provide a quick note regarding the side yard setback request. The applicant has revised their side yard setback request to reflect a 1.3 meter side yard setback request, which is in place of the original 1.43 meters side yard setback request. This change is consistent with RJ Burnside's recommendation to slightly increase this requested setback distance to ensure that there's sufficient space to accommodate proposed 125 millimeter eaves, as well as any future siding without needing to encroach into this setback. Therefore, the following 5 minor variances are being requested for this severed lot. Section 8.3.2 of the zoning bylaw requires a minimum lot width of 30 meters, whereas the applicant is seeking to create a residential lot with a lot width of 17.53 meters. Section 8.3.3 states that the minimum interior side yard shall be setback shall be 2.4 meters for buildings that are greater than 1 story in height, whereas the applicant is proposing a side yard setback of 1.43 meters from the existing 1.5 story building. which is proposed to be converted to the residential dwelling. Section 8.3.6B states that the minimum floor area shall be 125 square meters total, whereas the existing 1.5 story accessory structure totals 100.26 square meters in total floor area. Section 8.3.6D states that the minimum ground floor area for residential buildings shall not be less than 75 square meters, whereas the accessory structure in question has an approximate ground floor area of 56.64 square meters. And lastly, section 9.2.3A of the zoning bylaw states that an accessory building shall only be permitted in association with a principal residential dwelling on the lot. And the applicant is seeking temporary relief from this provision to permit the existing accessory building to be located on the proposed separate lot until such a time that this structure is converted into the principal residential dwelling unit on the lot. The image on the left of this slide shows a view of the proposed retained lot, which contains the existing single detached dwelling. The image on the right of the slide shows the view of the proposed severed lot, or representation of which this lot contains an existing accessory structure, which will be converted to a residential dwelling. The image on the top left of this slide shows an elevation view of the existing accessory structure. And the image on the bottom right of this slide shows a photo of the structure from a different angle as it currently stands. One piece of public correspondence has been received from the adjacent property owners, providing support for the proposed application. The adjacent owners provided the following comments in support of the proposed development, specifically noting that Pestilence have owned property in Reedsville for a number of years, and that they have maintained both their properties, as well as completing work and improving the boulevard along Alps Road. They express confidence that they will maintain the new lot with the same care, and that they are happy to support the proposal. There are no objections from the Township's Fire Department, Engineering, and Public Works Department, as well as the Regional Waterloo or GRCA. Canada Post noted that the mail delivery for the severed lot would be through an owner-installed rural mailbox. The Waterloo Catholic School Board noted that any education charges will be collected prior to the issuance of building permit. The building department provided comments for the building permit stage, noting that the construction must comply with the current Ontario Building Code, and with permits being required for the conversion of the structure. A grading and drainage plan and septic design will be required at the building permit stage as well, and that the conversion of the accessory building to a residential dwelling unit must demonstrate full Part 9 building code compliance. RG Burnside, the Township's external engineering review consultant, provided the following comments for the submitted applications and development. They requested confirmation, originally requested confirmation of a grading and drainage plan to ensure that the proposed driveway will not alter existing overland flows or impact adjacent vegetation, shifting the driveway northward if needed. They also recommended allowing a smaller increased side yard buffer for future siding and eave work. And through the hydrogeological review, Burnside confirmed the groundwater assessment is acceptable at this time, but did request that additional water quality testing and treatment verification be provided to meet Ontario drinking water standards prior to residential connection. Just looking at how some of these agency comments and concerns have been addressed by the applicant and the owner. Looking at the side yard and the eaves comment, the variance has been revised from 1.3 meters to 1.3 meters from the original request of 1.43 meters to allow for the eaves and maintenance access consistent with Burnside's advice. For the driveway and drainage, the consent sketch has been updated, as well as the grading plan to shift driveway north, which increases the separation from the south lot line and preserves existing trees. Burnside has confirmed that this revised plan satisfies their concerns regarding drainage and tree protection. For well water quality, a condition of the consent requires that a letter from the owner's retained well driller confirm that Ontario drinking water standards are complied with prior to residential connection. And a note to add, a minor update was made to condition F of the consent today. The original wording of this condition of approval required a signed and sealed letter from a qualified hydrogeologist. But following RG Burnside's recommendation, it has now been revised to instead require a signed letter from a well driller. Burnside's hydrogeologist confirmed that a certified driller can complete the required sampling and confirm potable water quality without the need for a hydrogeologist to be involved. Property owner has worked with planning staff and RG Burnside to address comments raised at the public meeting stage, and staff are satisfied that agency comments have been addressed at this time, with any remaining technical details to be finalized through conditional approval of the consent and at the building permit stage. Planning staff are of the opinion that the requested variances meet the four tests of a minor variance. The requested variances are minor in nature and will scale in impact. The reductions are modest and maintain lot size, frontage, and separation between buildings. And the proposal will not change how the property functions or impacts neighboring lands. The proposal is desirable and appropriate for the land, as it creates appropriate rural infill along Reedsville Road and converts an existing structure to a dwelling unit, making efficient use of existing land and infrastructure. It meets the intent of the zoning bylaw, as the reduced frontage maintains a consistent streetscape along Reedsville Road, while the side yard setback provides adequate space for maintenance and prevents any future encroachment by eaves or use troughs. And from an official plan perspective, the proposal aligns with the township's direction for low impact compatible infill within the rural settlement area, and new lot in the new lot and the conversion of the existing building support growth that blends with the established pattern along Reedsville Road and neighborhood character. Staff are satisfied the proposed application is appropriate. Staff's opinion is based on the following: that there were no major comments or concerns received from external or internal departments that would preclude the application from moving forward. Landowners within a 120-meter radius were notified, with only letters of support being received. The proposal represents modest residential infill in a settlement area and is consistent with official plan policies, with the lot blending with the existing lot fabric. The supporting technical studies confirm private surfacing and drainage, and the proposal avoids natural hazards and environmental features. And lastly, the lot size is comparable to neighboring properties, and adequate space remains for parking, landscaping, and amenity areas on both lots. Comments relating to well testing from RG Burnside will be addressed through conditions to provisional approval of the consent. Based on the foregoing planning analysis, planning staff recommended this time that PD report number 65/2025 be received, and that consent application B0325 be approved, subject to the conditions listed in the recommendation section of report number PD 65/25, and that minor variance application A0925 be approved as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Is there, does the applicant or the applicant's agent wish to comment on the application?
Madam Mayor, we have no.
Please come up to the microphone. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, we have no additional comment. Just want to, say thank you to Brock for assisting us and guiding us through the process, and with approval, then we're looking forward to the next steps in the process. Thank you very much.
Any member of the public wish to make a comment? Seeing none, councillors, any questions or comments? Councillor Austin.
Just one quick question, so I'm understanding. Under the engineering regarding the side yard setback, is that reading right, or am I reading it backwards, or what? It said the applicant has revised their variance to request to reflect a 1.3 meter side yard setback in place of the original 1.43. So they made the setback smaller. They're like not as much.
Rob, would you like to?
Wouldn't it be better to have it at 1.43?
Go ahead, Rob.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Ossner. Yes, so the setback is smaller. However, that just allows for if the eaves were to encroach farther towards the south lot line, that would reduce the setback to a smaller number compared to the number that's showing right there.
CEO McNeil.
Madam Mayor, the concern is why we have done a slightly further reduction in the side yard setback is this was built as an accessory structure. The moment we convert it into a residential use, potentially there will be structural changes to elements of the building. Which could include insulation value, could be reinforcing truss. Designed for the roof. And this additional reduction would allow the flexibility that if there are slight adjustments to the building as we know it, to accommodate the retrofit, we're not back before the committee a second time to acknowledge that. So it's out of abundance of caution to provide a measure of flexibility.
Okay, thank you.
So Councillor Austin, the motion, please.
Moved by myself, second by Rod Rowland, that PD report number 65-2025 be received. And that consent application B0325 being a request to sever the property at 2026 Reedsville Road to create one new residential lot with approximately 17.53 meters of frontage on the Reedsville Road and corresponding lot area of 4,137.9 square meters. Be approved, subject to the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared by an Ontario land surveyor illustrating the new proposed lot lines to the satisfaction of Township North Dumfries. The applicant submit a draft of the transfer deeds for review upon registration. A final copy of the transfer deed shall be provided to the township. That the applicant pay $230 representing the township administration fee. The applicant paid the certificate of approval clearance for registration fee to the township in the amount of $840. That the owner pay any outstanding township property taxes in full. That the owner applicant provide a signed and sealed letter from a well driller confirming that the newly constructed well servicing and severed lot meets the applicable Ontario drinking water quality standards prior to the residential connection and prior to the stamping of the deeds. The letter shall include supporting documentation demonstrating that 2 consecutive bacteriological samples that show no total coliforms. 2, turbidity has been reduced to a reasonable treatable level through additional well development and retesting. 3, a written rationale is provided pursuant to MECP procedure D55 addressing the total dissolved solids TDS level and confirming that corrosion, scaling, or taste issues will not occur. And 4, appropriate treatment recommendations are provided for hardness, iron, and sodium as required to ensure potable water quality. All documentation above shall be provided to the satisfaction of Township North Dumfries. G, that the owner applicant pays to the township a sum of $7,500 as cash in lieu payment for the provision of parkland as permitted under section 53 of the Planning Act. That the owner applicant submit the regional consent review fee of $350 prior to final approval. That the owner applicant complete the required township access permit to the satisfaction of Township North Dumfries. That the applicant owner apply for and enter into a development agreement for severed lands with the Township North Dumfries that will satisfactorily address, amongst other matters, the location of buildings and structures inclusive of the finished floor elevation, landscaping inclusive of a tree preservation / protection plan, driveway location and standards, lot grading and drainage plan, and site servicing plan. That the owner shall agree that the development agreement will be registered against the title of the proposed retained and severed lots. That the above conditions must be fulfilled and the document for conveyance or certificate of consent be completed by the Township Planning Department within 2 years of the date of the written decision pursuant to section 5341 of the Planning Act. Otherwise, the approval shall lapse. And that minor variance application A-0925 being a request to permit a lot frontage of 17.53 meters for the severed lot, whereas section 832 of the general zoning bylaw 689-83 requires a minimum lot width of 30 meters. Permit side yard setback of 1.3 meters from the existing 1.5 story accessory building, which is proposed to be converted to a residential dwelling, whereas section 833 of the general zoning bylaw 68983 requires a minimum. That's the cliffhanger. Interior side setback shall be 2.5 meters for buildings greater than 1 story in height. C, permit an approximate total floor area of 100.26 square meters for the to be converted residential dwelling, whereas section 836B of the general zoning bylaw 68983 requires a minimum floor area of 125 square meters for a 1.5 story dwelling. D, permit an approximate ground floor area of 56.64 square meters for the to be converted residential dwelling, whereas section 836D of the general zoning bylaw 68983 establishes that the minimum ground floor area for residential buildings containing 1.5 stories or more shall not be less than 75 square meters. And E, seek temporary relief to permit for the existing accessory building to be converted to remain on the proposed severed lot without an associated principal dwelling until such time that this structure is converted into the principal residential dwelling on the lot, whereas section 923A of the general zoning bylaw 68983 establishes that an accessory building shall only be permitted on a lot in association with a principal residential dwelling located on the lot be approved.
All those in favor?
Thank you, Councilor.
It's all that. Next is 6.6.3 road number PD 66/2025 minor variance application for 1103 Greenfield Road, file number A18/25. Notice has been given in accordance with the planning act. The secretary treasurer will keep a record of all persons who provide comments on this application and those who register with the first division to request a notice of decision. Those individuals will be notified of the decision or reconvening in future meetings on this application. There's a sign sheet on the table at the back of the meeting room to complete for those who wish future notice related to this file. The compost manager of planning will present this application. Michael, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Now, pleased to present staff's recommendation on submitted minor variance application for property at 1103 Greenfield Road, file number A18/25. Subject property is located on the south side of Greenfield Road, east of Sprague's Road and west of West River Road. Provides a lot area of approximately 24 hectares with a corresponding frontage of 251 meters onto Greenfield Road. Property consists of a mix of agricultural fields and wooded areas and is developed with one single attached dwelling, an accessory building, and swimming pool. Surrounding the property are agricultural lands and wooded areas with an aggregate operation on the northern side of Greenfield Road. Under the Township zoning bylaw, number 68983, the property is zoned Z1 agriculture, and the Township's official plan designates the property as rural area and protected countryside. The application before the committee seeks relief from the provisions of the Township's general zoning bylaw to permit the construction of a new coach house on the property. The proposed coach house is designed as a 1-story detached structure with a gross floor area of 120 square meters and a maximum height of 7 meters. As illustrated on the image before you, the coach house is proposed to be located in front of the existing principal dwelling, separated by a distance of approximately 10 meters and set back about 207 meters from the front lot line along the Greenfield Road. The building is centrally located on the property and well separated from all property boundaries. Access to the new structure will be provided through the existing driveway, which currently serves the principal dwelling. The proposed coach house is designed to include 1 bedroom, a sunroom, 1.5 bathrooms, a laundry room, and an open concept living room and kitchen. And the applicant has submitted conceptual drawings shown on this slide, which illustrate a compact bungalow style building that incorporates a blend of modern and traditional architectural features. Also shown on your screen is the proposed floor plan for the coach house development. Planning staff conducted a site visit on September 4th, 2025. And this slide shows several photos from that visit. Figure 1 illustrates the entrance to the property. And figure 2 shows the existing driveway leading to the principal dwelling and the location of the proposed coach house. And figure 3 highlights the area where the coach house is planned to be situated. These images demonstrate that the proposed coach house will be set back a significant distance from the road and will remain well screened by existing vegetation, ensuring that the dwelling is secluded from the property frontage. To accommodate the proposed construction, the applicant is requesting relief from 4 provisions of the Township's general zoning bylaw. First, section 6.40.7 of the bylaw requires that a coach house not exceed 40% of the footprint of the principal dwelling or 110 square meters, whichever is less. The proposed coach house is designed at 120 square meters or approximately 1,292 square feet. Secondly, section 6.40.9I requires that on lots greater than 0.4 hectares in area, the maximum permitted height of a coach house is 6.1 meters or 20 feet. The applicant is proposing a height of 7 meters or just under 23 feet. The next provision is 6.40.9II, which requires that a coach house be located in the rear yard. In this case, the proposed coach house is to be situated in front of the existing dwelling, which under the bylaw is defined as the established front yard. Finally, 6.40.15 requires that an unobstructed pathway between 1.2 and 1.5 meters in width be provided between the coach house and the public street. The applicant is seeking relief from this requirement given the significant distance between the street frontage and the proposed location of the coach house. Planning staff circulated notice of the applications to all property owners within 120 meters of the subject lands, and a notice sign was posted along Greenfield Road, frontage. And to date, no public comments were received regarding this application. With respect to agency and department review, comments received from Canada Post, the Fire Department, Engineering and Public Works, the Region of Waterloo, GRCA, and Grand Bridge identified no objections or concerns with the application. The Building Department also had no concerns with the application, but advised that a septic review would need to be completed prior to building permit issuance. Staff assessed the requested variances against the four tests under the Planning Act. It is our opinion that the proposal meets all 4. The general intent and purpose of the official plan is maintained by providing gentle intensification in a form that fits the rural setting. The general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw is upheld as the coach house remains clearly secondary to the main dwelling in both function and scale. We are also satisfied that the relief requested is minor in nature. The 9% increase in floor area is proportionate to the overall size of this 24-hectare property. And the modest height increases improves the architectural design without overpowering the existing home. The front yard placement maintains an appropriate visual hierarchy given the large setbacks and existing vegetation. And finally, eliminating the pedestrian walkway requirement reflects the rural context and avoids unnecessary hardscaping, with the existing driveway providing the most practical and safe means of access. Overall, the proposal is desirable and appropriate for the property and will not create any negative impacts on the neighboring lands, natural features, or the functioning of the site. For these reasons, staff recommend that minor variance application A18/25 be approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Does the applicant or the applicant's agent wish to comment on this matter? Not seeing anyone. Does any member of the public wish to make any comments? Again, silence. Councilors, any comments? Seeing none, Councilwoman, the motion, please.
Moved by myself, so by Councilor Wilms, that report number PD 66-2025 be received. And minor variance application A-1825 being a request of permit relief from section 6.40.7 of general zoning bylaw number 689-83 to permit a coach house to be a maximum of 120 square meters, 1,291.67 square feet in size. The relief from section 6.40.9 1 of general zoning bylaw number 689-83 to permit a coach house with maximum height of 7 meters or 22.97 feet. C, relief from section 6.40.92 general zoning bylaw number 689-83 to permit a coach house located in front of the existing residential dwelling, being the established front yard as defined by the bylaw. And D, relief from section 6.40.15 of general zoning bylaw number 689-83 to permit coach house to not provide an unobstructed pathway with a minimum width of 1.2 meters or 3.93 feet and a maximum width of 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet between coach house and the public street, given the significant distance between the public street and the full location of the coach house be approved.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Councillor Boston coming out of committee adjustment, please.
Moved by myself, second by Rod Willerman, that pursuant to the Planning Act, the public meeting of the Committee of Adjustment be adjourned at 7 p.m.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. Councillor Bowman, bylaws, please.
Moved by myself, second by Councilor Williams, that the following bylaw be read at first and second time. Bylaw number 3600-25, being a bylaw to confirm the procedure of council meeting held on October 28th, 2025.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you. And final reading of the bylaw, please, Councillor Williams.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Willoughby, the bylaw number 3600-25 be read a third and final time and be signed and sealed by the mayor.
All those in favor? The adjournment as well, please, Councillor Williams.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Oster, there whereas business before this council planning public meeting has been completed at 7:01 p.m. and be it resolved that this meeting adjourned.
All those in favor? Carried, thank you.